two must-bans in the meta at the moment in Kalista and Skarner, which, to no one's surprise, Nongshim are probably just going to ban Skarner and Kalista here, and then they get one ban that they can actually use.
Yeah. I asked you before we started, I said, do you think we see Skarner played at all today? Like, does it sneak through? And you said immediately no, which is not surprising, but I am curious, you know, if we get to a fourth game and teams are struggling, they really want to ban something else, will it happen? The Shen ban does happen.
Yeah.
So they're not going to let them play it in game one. And that's going to get confusing, right? Because if you have to go to red side after a win, you got to ban Skarner, Kalista, and Shen.
Yeah.
It's not going to feel good.
That's the difficulty of it. It's honestly a big reason why blue side's been so strong in the LCK is that sort of freedom in terms of bans. We do see the Zyra ban come out. Looking like an early Elise pickup. We did see Andal play this yesterday to, you know, moderate amount of success. Didn't win the game, but to get a decent amount of kills on it. Obviously, a lot of power in the dives. And a good amount of power in the lane as well, so wanted to secure that early on.
Yeah, the Nilly is open. It has been something that Sponge has gone to many times. We've seen it, the teams even try to take it away from him.
Yeah.
And with the Zyra bans, you know, it does potentially go up in the ranks.
Aurora's a big pickup. Cassante also available if they wanted to lean towards that. But I think with Jace as well, maybe not jumping straight away to pick that. They go for the Vi. So yeah, I mean, Sponge could just go the Nidalee if he really wanted to in this situation.
We'll see if he does. Yukal's Aurora was disgusting. The amount of damage he was doing to Berserker was actually just not safe for broadcast, and he didn't really get to play the game. Yukal got to play the game a lot, and he is playing the game very well nowadays, and is one of the main carries alongside of Teddy, it feels like, for this roster.
Yeah, Cassante comes through, not a huge surprise. Probably going to see Nongshim just pick up the Jace on 3. Makes the most sense, unless they want to potentially flex the Aurora, but I don't see really a massive need to. Xin Zhao going to come through for Sponge, it looks like. Yeah, I mean, a lot of early pressure from these picks between the jungle and the support, and over the Nongshim, it looks like they might be flexing that Aurora, actually, into the top lane. And looking at the Yone for Fisher, I feel like last split, Yone was the pick I think he had the strongest performance on. I remember him having a pretty standout game, so definitely a pick he is comfortable with. And also the opportunity with no mid picked up by DRX, you have the chance to ban away any matchups you don't want to play into, so does end up locking that one in. A lot of dive threat already. That's the thing, is you could ban mid picks. I think, honestly, I would just ban away anything that gives Teddy safety.
Kai'Sa?
I mean, Kai'Sa potentially, but even like a Xayah ban could actually be pretty good here. I mean, I know we're not big fans of the Xayah, but it would make the Vi's life a lot more difficult. Ezreal, also something you could deny away here. I just think picks that are going to give him an extra element of safety have a lot of value in this situation. The Kai'Sa gets banned by DRX. I think that makes complete sense. You have so many threats to kind of set up that dive potential for Jiwoo. And yeah, I mean, Nongshim could just ban the Ezreal as well here. You definitely want Teddy, ideally on something immobile that you can just press your buttons on and he dies.
I think that would be a recipe for success, for sure. And let's see. Well, Hens will be told to ban, giving some thoughts of his own. It's Azir.
Yeah, not the Ezreal, but kind of the same theme as like it's a mid lane pick, but it's also one of these hard to engage on safer picks to line up from Yukal.
You could also just pick away Ezreal, right? You know, if you want to deny that. So
that would actually make a lot of sense. You know, an Ezreal pick coming in has the mobility to follow up a little bit, not like Kai'Sa, but can also just fire the ult across the top. Ziggs coming in. You know, they do have quite a lot of AD in the composition, and also again, Vile, you ult on top, but they do go for that Ezreal denial, as you said. And now DRX toying with the idea of Varus. Varus is longer range, so you can definitely like perform at a safe distance, but this is what Nongshim want to play into, you know, that immobile sort of pick. You have that long range engage to threaten, even though Varus can often play at such a distance. And then Akali for Yukal is a pick he can definitely pop off on, but it kind of feels like this composition is, okay, they're going to kill you, Teddy. We'll try and kill them at the same time.
Yeah. Good riddance. We'll see you in the next battle.
Yeah. Teddy's job is to press R and hope his team win. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they do have a lot of other threats, and a Nautilus going to be the pick here for Lahens. Just more follow-up, more potential hard engage, and more buttons to press onto Teddy. Or, you know, onto Akali as well.
Yeah.
If you get a little look at Akali for a split second, you press R.
I was going to say that, like, I feel like the Nautilus is more about dealing with the Akali because obviously you can press R on her quite easily. Because I think they have, I'm going to say it, enough buttons for Teddy. You know, I think if Lahens also presses R on Teddy, I think he might be overdoing it a little bit. But, I mean, the Vi Nautilus combo, not so much recently, but there was a time where this really dictated the meta, and it was just, you don't get to play the game. You know, there's no outplay potential against these. You can buy a Zhonya, sure, but I mean, even when stopwatch was a thing, this was a strong combo.
Yeah.
Now that stopwatch isn't a thing, if you have to either buy a Seeker's Arm Guard, which is expensive and only really good for AP champs, or a full Zhonya's, which is, again, expensive, and not every champion is able to do it. So a lot of power here, I feel, between those two picks and shutting them down. I think Nongshim kind of happy with what they got, especially considering they're on red side.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that Nongshim come ahead in this draft from what we can see. I think that generally as well, if you've got a lot of CC and you have a lot of easy follow-up, it just feels very nice and kind of easy, right? Whereas we might need to see UCal pull out the crazy moves or Teddy somehow dodge everything just to do damage with the composition of DRX. So certainly the difficulty curve is much higher on that side. But guys, we are ready for game number 1. Let's hop onto the Rift. Here we go, game number 1. As, you know, we talked about trying to make good compositions as it gets later in the Fearless Best of 5. Our first one here at the LCK Cup. And DRX have somewhat struggled in game 1.
Yeah.
How do we feel about this going forward?
We'll have to see. You know, I feel like Nongshim kind of really got what they wanted, and the choices they made as the draft went on made sense. DRX, if you're in their position, you're really trying to match lanes at the start. Well, I mean, I say that, it's not ideal for the Cassante into the Aurora, but really, the bot lane 2v2 is where you have some strength. You know, one of the problems as well is, like, Yukal's been fantastic, but Akali into Yone, I don't expect much to come from that early. Fisher should be able to hold his own, especially as it's, you know, the grasp Yone, who's just very durable. Once it gets to the point where the Akali has kill pressure, he should be feeling pretty comfortable. So we do end up with that 2v2 happened. It's on the opposite side of the map with them both top lane. And I would say DRX pretty happy with that. You know, the Varus does outrange the Ezreal. The Elise poses a good amount of threat in the Nautilus, but there's not so much in return because of the repel. It's kind of hard. Especially the Spiderlings are so annoying for a Nautilus. Like a Leona can just E, and it doesn't matter if the Spiderlings are there, the Nautilus doesn't have that. So I do expect Lahens and Jiwoo to be a little bit behind on pressure here, which is good for DRX.
Yeah, it definitely is. And you see that Teddy has gone for the Comet. You know, he's not going to be going on hit Varus in this game. I would imagine he's going to be looking to shoot from far range and do as much poke damage as possible. Yeah. And then, as we mentioned, fall over and die. I
think if you're in ranged auto attack, you're too close.
Yeah.
You know, there'll be a brief moment where you can put one auto into someone and then you're dead. That feels like basically what Nongshim are hoping to achieve on this one.
So, like, in terms of who's got the longest range on one poke ability, it is the Varus, right? I mean, there is True Shot Barrage. Should note that. I think Ezreal wins there, but, like, consistent damage.
Yeah. I mean,
it should be Teddy, so at least he's got that.
That is the thing. If you're in a position where you're ahead and your team can play Bodyguard and they're not able to find access to the Varus, you can just poke from distance. So there's definitely that value. It's better than if you pick, like, an Ashe. Ashe would have been...
Yeah.
Not so great here. But yeah, I think Nongshim, the Xayah ban, the Ezreal takeaway, definitely a lot of value for them. You can see though Jiwoo and Lahens just a little bit on the back foot so far. Not too much come from this. One thing with the Elise is she's very much designed to be a jungler, and you can tell by her mana cost. Mana's not really an issue in the jungle because you get so much mana regen from like the jungle item. But if you spam your abilities in lane for poke, you just go so quickly. We've even seen it happen in the LCK sometimes. Some people less experienced than the Elise just running out of mana really quickly. So you don't have that poke pressure. And you definitely want to wait for level 3 as well. Level 3 a big spike. But for now, they are pushing them in. But Lahens and Jiwoo are still quite healthy.
And you know who's really good on Elise? It's Lehens. And Dondal, you know, you pointed out he played it well yesterday, even though they did lose the game. But now Lehens just doesn't get to play it for potentially 5 games. So I feel like that's another reason to go for that first pick Elise, just deny it from somebody who has so much experience on the pick.
Yeah, and we've seen the bot lane. This is one of the issues with DRX's composition, is that, yes, you want to have the 2v2 bot lane matchup happen, but by doing so, you end up with the top lane 1v1 matchup, and Kingen has already picked up a plate and has a CS lead, and he's only level 4. So even this early on, Rich already feeling the pain of playing into Aurora, or just the pain of playing into a ranged top laner as a melee top laner. Never fun. But that's the thing. Like, has DRX got a massive lead from their bot lane? No, not yet. But already Kingen is almost 300 gold up in this matchup.
He's going to get an extra control ward of gold as well.
Nice.
Just adding to the lead. 265 at the moment. Oh, jumping in. Andil looking for it as comes back to his soul, and Cocoon is going to land. Fisher in a lot of trouble. Andil gets on in, but he doesn't have repel, so he will go down. But he does pick up the first blood for himself.
I think Fisher's pretty happy with that, if I'm going to be honest. The sad thing is obviously just being TP, so he's not going to be able to get back that quickly. But you can see the wave isn't going to get frozen or anything by Yukal. He's not really going to miss much. And he got a kill versus Andal getting a kill. Remember, feat of strength changed, so you need 3 kills for it. They don't even get they don't even get like the initial feat of strength. I think Fisher pretty happy overall. Is down in farm though. You can see what he tries to do here is he tries to bait out the Cocoon and dodge it with his Unbound Soul here. I think Andal goes for the Q and he sees animation, thinks it's a Cocoon, but Andal very patient. And at this point, Andal flashes in to secure it, but unfortunately, no way to get out again. And so we can see in the mid lane, you know, there is a CS lead over to Yukal, but Fisher's not too far behind in gold thanks to that initial kill. Is a little bit down on XP though, and Yukal is level 6, so that is a bit scary.
Yeah, Yukal level 6, and he's just gonna face check the brush and maybe go down here. The Ignite is ticking, and now it's Lehens who's got a kill. At least DRX able to get in there and pick up 1 grub, but Nongshim gonna be very happy. They get closer to that feat of warfare. They're also going to be able to pick up 2 grubs and pick up the kill, even though it does go over to Lehens as well.
Yeah, and the big thing is means Fisher obviously got some alone time in the top lane while this was happening. He's caught up in terms of farm against the Akali. He's actually up in gold. Yeah, Xante now has a Negatron cloak. That helps. Yeah, I think the setup for that play was really well done by Nongshim. They found like a pocket of vision. And I think the most dangerous time is when you think you have safety. Like DRX have control of the grubs, they have people there. Yukal, he suspects something's up, you can see from his movement, but you know, his team are in the river. He's in his lane. There's only this one small pocket of vision they don't have, but it was just beautifully set up by Nongshim to find that pick. Allows him to secure those 2 grubs, allows Fisher to pull ahead a little bit in that matchup, and just a really heads-up play where you initially saw DRX getting some strength.
Yeah, bit of back and forth already between these 2 teams. We did expect this series to be a bit of a bloodbath. Certainly it is one of the series where all of us have come in today and have had different opinions on who we think is favored, who we think is going to win. I personally went for DRX, you were thinking Nongshim. We don't have official predictions for this one until playoffs, I believe. But other people saying DRX, other people saying Nongshim, so definitely could go either way.
Yeah.
As, ooh, that was kind of unfortunate flash from Lehens, but...
Yeah, Jiwoo playing a bit aggressive with the Arcane Shift, and then Lehens not really helping him out. But I mean, Jiwoo obviously has Cleanse, so he is able to get away from it. I think if we didn't have Cleanse, that'd be a very different conversation, I think, between Jiwoo and Lehens on the back of that one.
Yeah. Better than Jiwoo using his flash, I guess, but certainly not the best situation. Yeah, and he's also Ezreal, so he's got Arcane Shift, so maybe flash isn't as valuable. Yeah. Still very valuable, though. It
is one of those games, though, with Teddy and Andal both having like the Cocoon and the Chains of Corruption. It's very high-value cleanse game for Jiwoo, so that being on cooldown is significant.
Yeah, it definitely is. We've seen some weird fights around the blue for DRX, and it has happened. And for Bro. We are going to jump on in there and just go for the fight. They try to just lock them down as the Yone ultimate is going to keep them in place basically forever. But funnily enough, they used everything onto not the two carries as UCal trying to do something. And he's not going to be able to. Fisher picks up a second kill. And Teddy, unfortunately, not able to join the fight. So it was a 2v2 with 2 DPS left, but Teddy not able to do enough.
Yeah, generally pretty well played by the side of Nongshim, but due a little bit of a misplay, a little bit of a fumble. I actually think this initial play is pretty heads up. They commit so much onto the jungle support, which isn't typically, as you said, the target you go for, but they just delete them up on the fight. But Jiwoo, Arcane shifts in here for no real benefit, honestly. He's not going to kill Teddy, he just exposes himself to UCal. Does save his flash at least. If he died and flashed, I think I would have been very disappointed. But yeah, Jiwoo kind of a little bit out of sync with the rest of the team, I feel, whereas Gideon, Fisher, and Lahens, they knew what their goal was, and they got it done.
Yeah. Still ends up being good for Nongshim, as you mentioned. They're enjoying about 1,500 gold in the lead, and they're looking for that second set of grubs here in just a moment.
Yeah.
5 grubs, especially when you've got the Aurora, the Yone to potentially be nice side laners. Will be interesting to see how far they can push this lead.
Yeah, Fisher also now with 2 kills on the Yone, feeling a lot better in this matchup. I think later on when you start to get some magic resist as well, really becomes quite painful. I mean, not necessarily magic resist, but more sustain, more, you can go some defensive items on the Yone. UCal's not going to be able to handle them as easily. I think that's the thing, is that Akali becomes quite ult reliant. Obviously, there's a lot of power in team fights, but in the side lane, unless you're willing to commit the ult into Yone, you're just going to have a bad time. But yeah, Fierce Feat of Strength picked up by Nongshim with the fact they got 3 kills first, so they can pick up some more. As you said, the grubs would be able to get them 1 if they can get all 3. Start looking that direction, but also they did get a little bit of chip damage on the towers earlier on, so that's an avenue they can also pursue. Yeah.
For now, Gideon just going to start this up, but they're very aware of the imminent threat of DRX.
So something that was weird with the last fight is no one really used any summoners. So still a lot of flashes available or just about to come up.
They just died too fast, you know?
Yeah.
And now Sponge's going to go in. Lahens trying to hook away. He's not going to be able to. They have to turn, but Lahens in a bit of trouble. Tanks up quite a lot and actually still alive for so long. And the Yone just able to clean up. UCal very out of position after that as they desperately couldn't kill Lahens. And finally they do, but it is absolutely not worth it. Nongshim win another big fight, and now Fisher, 4 kills. Feeling pretty good about his situation in this game.
I think DRX was just too tunnel visioned on the Nautilus, and they're like, look, we'll just get him, get out. That's all we need to do. And the more invested they became, the more dire it started to seem in that situation. Lahens, you know, playing Nautilus is not about KDA. And he is definitely happy with the outcome of that fight. There's a decent interrupt from Sponge at the start, but it is just backfired massively, and now 2,000 gold lead. You can see again, so Sponge gets the interrupt on Lahens. They know he doesn't have flash. He's the only person who doesn't have flash. And they're like, look, we can just kill him. We can burst him down. But there's a lot of disruption that comes through. The locket as well from Lahens is what saves him. And then that ult from Gideon.
Yeah.
And yes, he goes down, but those 2 factors, I think, really baited in Nongshim. The double whammy of the extra shielding, and then you saw Sponge flash in just to get immediately interrupted when he was just going to auto once for the finish. And it does end up backfiring. You know, UCal has been phenomenal for this DRX lineup, but right now he's 1-3 into the Yone 4-1. It's not, I'm not blaming him for it, but this is the player who's really driven DRX to this point, and already this game is looking pretty rough for him because an Akali who is behind is not much at all.
Yeah, it's an Akali playing into heaps of CC as well. I mean, we touched on this in the draft. You know, Lahens can easily just press R onto him and disrupt a lot of the Akali gameplay, the slipperiness. The Varus we talked about as well. Teddy will do damage and then die. So Nongshim from ahead are feeling very good. I feel like DRX, if they were able to get ahead, maybe you got the Akali fed, you know, Cassante unkillable. There were some angles, but it's feeling a little bit unfortunate at this point. One thing to note, no dragons have been taken just yet. 13 minutes into the game. First dragon is Ocean. Nobody has looked at it.
Yeah, usually Ocean a pretty nice pickup as an early dragon because the sustain in lane is nice, but also because you know it's not an Ocean soul. Yeah, team's not really leaning towards that as of yet. It feels like we've had more conflicts around the grubs. We started to see, especially I feel like with the feats of strength seeming less and less valuable, you know, at first everyone was like, oh, we have to fight every grub. It seems like teams have moved a bit more to like, you know, it's not that big of a deal. We can take Dragon, you can take grubs, we'll trade off.
UCal going in here. He doesn't know about the Nautilus. Now he knows, as the hook is going to miss. UCal, not to be disrupted, he continues to go in. There's the ult, going to hit both of them. Lahen's easily able to peel for Fisher, who did have to flash, but still going to mean that Fisher gets away. And Sponge is, man, I hope he's not tilted after that last play, but he's absolutely getting very aggressive. Maybe.
Oh yeah, he still has flash actually. I think I said that he flashed in the last play, but must have just dashed in to go for that last order. But yeah, he was looking for the flash play on a Fisher there. You know, it's still advantageous for DRX. They got Fisher's flash, but definitely looking for a bit more. The Hens with the perfect timing to be there and defend his mid laner. You can see turret plating definitely in favor of Nongshim, helping to contribute to that gold lead. First tower still alive, but Nongshim just need one objective now, having picked up that first dragon, and they will have the feats of strength. Yeah, as I was saying before, I think people have realized it's not like the biggest game changer getting feats of strength. It's not that much of an advantage, but oh, Fisher.
Yeah, this is
no wave. I don't think they can.
Yeah, he's no ult, no flash, so they're thinking maybe, but he did a great job of clearing the wave early on, so he is safe, and the timing is missed by DRX.
And again, it just feels like DRX don't lose anything for making that move up, but every missed opportunity just feels worse and worse for this team, where I feel like as the game goes on, I'm feeling less and less confident, you know, if it keeps heading in this direction. And I think Nongshim doing a good job of just mitigating the plays that come through. They're now moving into the river, clear out some vision around where the Herald's about to spawn. That is one thing. Teddy permanently just has that mid prio over Geo. Obviously, the range of the Varus, the wave clear he has. But right now, Nongshim really have control off that river area on the top side.
Yeah, feels pretty good for them. And Fisher trying to go deep on that one, actually. Trying to do a bit more damage to that turret. But yeah, as you mentioned, I mean, no real reason to overextend or do anything crazy. You're getting a Rift Herald for free. You picked up the Ocean Drake for free. Cloud Drake does come next, so it's not Cloud Soul. Gives us the opportunity of a Chem Tech, but also, you know, Mountain, Infernal, and Hex Tech, which are all very strong. So Nongshim, it just feels like they're very much in control of this one. Feats of Strength should come through for them eventually. And trying to go for a dive onto an Aurora. The hook is going to miss, and the dive is also going to be a big miss, as in goes Lahen's with his own tech, brings it out and shuts down Ondil. That was one of the saddest dives I've ever seen. That's now looking for a good dive as Nongshim on the top side. They're easily able to dispose of UCal, as Nongshim are winning big so far.
That's a divide between them. Once again, Lahen's defending his solo lane, as being in the right place at the right time to mitigate. Kingan did a great job to dodge away. But then, you know, Nongshim just make it look so easy on the other side of the map.
Yeah, I mean, that dive was just, it's just UCal alone. Ondil's obviously not there. Sponge, not there. And Sponge actually backing in the minimap, you can see right now. So he was there, but not at the right time.
Yeah, the off flash comes out from Hens to give Andal no time to repel it. So heads up play there. But I think ultimately that play felt a little bit rushed, a little bit desperate. Ideally, into an Aurora, you want to lead with like undodgeable CC like the Cassante are, but it's very hard to do when the wave's getting cleared and you're in a rush. This was just, you know, Gideon, easy as you do, into the Akali. Now, Lahen's is in a bit of trouble. I think he's just gone.
He might just be, but TP is coming in. There's the locket again. He's buying a lot of time once again, but DRX do have 4 members, but look at Rich. He's not that tanky just yet. He's only got the 1 item and easily disposed of by Ziru. Looking for more. The extension from the Yone on the Xin Zhao. And you would imagine, yes, Gideon should be able to finish off that kill. So now they take another big fight, and they have control of the Dragon Pit. What don't they have at this point?
I think the lesson we've learned is never try and kill the Hens. It always backfires.
He's Nautilus, and he's ahead. He's tanky, actually.
Yep. They find him recalling here, but it's only, look how low Rich is as well. And I mean, he has his ult, so I guess they're thinking, hey, we can make this happen. But this just seems kind of desperate. The TP really makes it scary, but also Gideon gets like this max range Q flash that comes out. Well, maybe not max range, but still manages to catch out Rich. And then here, the turret being so low as well, Kingen just finishes off, allows Gideon to push forwards and clean up on the play. And if things were bad before, they are just, I think this game is pretty done. 5,600 gold lead so far to Nongshim. They are firmly in control.
Yeah, it is quite the gap at this point in time. They can take the Drake whenever they want. They've got pushing lanes. They have the Rift Heralds. Like I said before, you know, what don't they have? They've essentially taken every objective. There was the one grub that went to DRX. They have all of their turrets, and they're getting baited by Nautilus.
Guys, stop trying to kill the hens. It just doesn't work.
Chains of Corruption into a Nautilus who has fooled you 3 times.
And he has Merc Treads as well, and he keeps buffering the CC with his dredge line. So
he's taunting them.
Yeah.
On purpose. It's game 1 of a best of 5 and you're getting crushed. Like, it's Lahenz's job to do that. We know what his personality is as well.
Yeah, I feel like it's one of these things where, you know, especially this LCK Cup, you know, Beryl has been performing really well. You know, we had that 9 deaths at least game. These are the mind game players like Beryl and Lahens do. Yeah. Where you think you've got a pick. You think, you know, we can kill him. It's free. It's never free. There's always a cost. And Lahens is demonstrating that beautifully here.
Yeah, he just feels kind of unkillable. Celestial opposition as well for any beginning of the fights.
The better thing is, it's like, even if you kill him, it's just never good, you know? Yeah. He's happy to sacrifice for the team.
Yeah, maybe in the first fight, but like the second, the third time, not nearly as useful to go for that. It is Infernal Soul, by the way, so pretty good for Nongshim.
I think as well, you're now in a position where Yukal is not that strong.
Not again. Okay, it is still Nautilus. You see Sponge backing away. He's like, no, no, no. Okay, 4th time I have learned.
Yeah.
We're not going to go in on the level 8 Nautilus.
Do a little bit poke, and then respect. That was not that much damage.
Yeah, but he is kind of getting CC'd down. He will have to flash out of that one. So nice little catch from Ondil. Not sure what Fisher was thinking. Just kind of face-checking the brush.
He was like, oh, Lahens, I can do it too. You know Lahens. You know that guy. But we're getting to the point where Nongshim are really strong. Yukal pulling behind a little bit, but also, if you look at Rich's items, he went the Kainic Rukin, obviously great into Kingen. Then he's gone to Sheen, he's building an Iceborne Gauntlet, but he doesn't really have much armor yet.
Yeah.
Look
at the jungle level gap as well. Not to mention just the jungle gap at the moment in terms of the scoreline. Level 14 to 11, and Sponge dies again. It's free Otacon here for Nongshim.
Yeah, I mean, it's just so free. I mean, Gideon is so strong. I was going to say he has the Black Cleaver. You have a lot of AD damage in the composition, so Rich is going to feel squishy. They're wanting to contest this.
Well, we've seen Otacon throws before, but I don't think this is going to be one of them. As they get the Otacon, and now they turn on the fight as they're looking to take down Lahens. They will enjoy their 200 gold. He gets a hook in the Death Chamber as well, just to add to the bonuses that he has given to his kills, or his team rather. And there you go, double kill for Jiwoo. Otacon secured for Nongshim. Only Lahens gets withdrawn.
Yeah, definitely felt like a bit of a desperate play there. From DRX. I can't really fault them for going for it because the game is pretty cooked at this point, but they just really didn't have a hope.
This, though.
Sponge dying for a control ward, never the play. Didn't have the support from the team. Like, Elise was in base. You shouldn't be stepped up there. And now the team is forced into this desperate play to try and redeem things. But, like, Kingen is just on this flank permanently. No one's really threatening him. Gets a big ult. You see Lahens dies, but doesn't even really die this time.
He got the hook while he was withdrawing.
Yeah, I mean, Lahens is just chilling in this game. And it really seems like it's pretty doomed at this point. And the thing is, Gideon, you know, you talked about him being so far up on Sponge. This isn't the first time. I feel like a consistent thing we've seen in the LCK Cup from Gideon is when he's given free reign in a game, he will, even on junglers like Vi, you don't think of Vi as a power farmer, but he's done it on like Sejuani as well. Yeah. He will generate a massive lead in the jungle and ensure that not only are you dealing with like fed laners, but the enemy jungler is like 3 levels up as well. And it means he's so powerful. He can just dive in like a madman and then still be a threat beyond his ult.
He's ahead of his own mid laner. I mean, that's saying a lot. You know, it's not even comparing it one winning team to one losing team. It's like, yeah, he's just that ahead in the game. As, yep, this is the Varus. Doesn't get to play the game. We talked about this in draft, but now the wallets are just gigantic as they are going to catch Gideon. And, of course, they will go for the dive with this Otacon buff.
Wait, they got
remnants
Lehens
of it, and yep, they did get Lehens.
Well, job successful. That's what they wanted, right?
That's what they've told us all game long, Ox.
Well, in terms of their objective of killing Lehens, you know, they've done it 4 times, not too bad. In terms of their objective of winning the game, DRX hasn't gone so far.
2 other kills. You know, they got Lehens and 2 other kills.
Yeah.
That's it.
To be fair, at this point, I don't think there's much DRX can do. They are at a huge deficit. The Atacam buff as well makes it really painful. And this is kind of what we talked about in the composition. There's just nothing really you can do to stop this. They can try and win the fight afterwards, but they're obviously really behind. It's not going to happen. But I think the draft that Nongshim have, and then the denial of the Ezreal and the ban of Desire really just made it impossible for Teddy to play the game.
Yeah. UCal got there late as well, you know, so we were talking about, oh, if you use everything onto Teddy, then you don't have much for UCal. I mean, it is more than a 10,000 gold lead at this point, so it's kind of just little things. As Andel, he's like, oh, I got a cocoon, guys, come on.
You know.
And he's probably just dead. Again, up 3 levels is Gideon on Sponge here as they look to punish him. Should be able to. The disengage cone, not even, it's actually going to help Gideon engage cone over the wall. So the Uno reversal there, actually. And yeah, Nongshim can just kind of do whatever they want at this point. Feels just like they're playing with their food.
Yeah, just run at them. Just take them out. That is basically what they're doing in every situation. There's really nothing the DRX can do right now.
They're not even going to give them 1 turret.
Yeah, got to feel a bit rough. I talked before about how, like, Akali feels underwhelming when behind, but also, like, Elise, you know, some of the items you build in Elise are a bit more expensive, you know, being, like, AP items. But also, like, Elise has been really strong in solo queue, where you kind of get, like, 11 kills for some reason.
Yeah.
And you take over a game. You know, those Ruinous Atacam games we hear so much about that don't exist in the LCK?
Not a thing.
If you fall behind this pick, you're just a cocoon bot. And would you rather have Nautilus or just like Elise cocoon? And you're also so squishy as well. It's not a great trade-off. They picked up the Baron now. The graphic just showed Gideon now 4 levels up.
Oh no.
You fall behind Gideon and he will dominate. He will get so much. And the thing is, you know, sometimes you have those junglers who just farm all the time, don't really do anything, but he's 4-0-11.
Yeah.
It's not even that. It's not even like, oh, thank God he's farming and not killing my team. No, he's doing that too. But he's also just tied highest level in the game.
Yeah, he's just the enemy jungler in solo queue. Like, he is everywhere. He's in every lane, ganking everyone at once, also ahead in farm. You're like, how is this possible?
Yeah, this is a solo queue experience, you know. I'm definitely in Teddy's position. You know, I have the 2 and 6. At least support. Enemy comp is just going to murder me constantly.
Yeah.
The 1 and 5 Akali mid. It's so true.
Well, they got through Lehens' shields. I will give them that, as in goes Fisher. And they just assassinate them. This game has been done for quite a while, but Nongshim going to show off their big bars of gold that they have gained from all of their farming in this one. Down will go all the members of DRX, and down will fall the Nexus. Nongshim absolutely stomping them, almost 20,000 gold ahead at the end of the game. That one was not close, not even a little bit.
Not even slightly. And I feel like it's rough because DRX had blue side, you know, they had that advantage going into the series, didn't really make use of it. Now they'll have side selection again. They're presumably going to go blue side once again, but it's like, this really, it felt like the draft didn't do them any favors, but also in terms of play, they seemed so just disjointed. There wasn't really any clear direction. They kept trying to kill the hens, it just didn't work. Not a fun one to start the series with. You definitely just have to go, okay, look, it's a best of 5. We're 1 game in. They can't play any of those champs again.
We denied them the Elise.
Let's not stress. I think that's the approach you have to have on this one. It's never a good one, never a good feeling to get rolled this hard, but it's also, it's a best of 5, and a lot of these players have been through those best of 5 scenarios, so they'll talk a bit about the game, and I'm sure they'll look to bounce back. But it does mean, you know, sometimes you have a situation where in a best of 5, it's like the team with blue side, and blue side's really strong. They get it game 1 and win, and then game 2 it goes the other side. It's a back and forth.
Yeah.
DRX have lost that already because they've lost that blue side game. Even if they go on blue side game 2, Nongshim have a bit of an edge there. King and doing a lot of damage, mostly just pumping in a rich. But yeah, DRX not doing a whole lot of anything this game.
It wasn't really a perfect game, but it kind of felt like a perfect game. 6 kills did go to DRX, but most of them were on Lehens, the Nautilus. So we're going to have to see a different kind of game too, or this might just be a quick series. Guys, we're going to take a quick break and have the space to break down game number 1. We will be right back.
나와도 얘들아. 복귀 이번에.
아칼리 쪽으로 보면 좋아.
여기 시야좀 되나?
야, 나 몸 넣을게. 넣어봐. 삼중격 조심하고 저거.
아니 나 그냥 미드
아, 걸어도 돼. 복귀 볼게.
나는 안 나온다.
보자. 아기, 아칼리 볼게, 얘들아. 아칼리 봐갖고. 아칼리 봐야 돼. 머리 끝나자. 아칼리 맞아.
오케이 끝내자.
아, 잡아.
잡다 나 커더라도.
나이스.
나이스.
한판 잘하자. 잘했어, 얘들아. 한판 잘하자.